y'all, I'm Jordan with AviNation here at SUNnFUN 2025, and this is TramTalk. I'm going to go ahead and let our guests introduce themselves and who they're with.
Hello, I am Skylar Thody with Pioneer Control Grips.
And I'm Kelsey.
So I just went in and seen your guys' booth. It was really cool. I love how you had everything displayed. What was the thought process in setting that all up?
So we have the sort of interactive displays. We wanted people to be able to get a real feel for what the grips were going to be like in their plane. So we designed a stand that kind of had that same sort of motion as it would when it's in the plane. So we just wanted to have everything set up so that people could easily see it and that it was, easily understood that how the grips work and how they're going to feel in real life.
So what's the process of designing them like? Because I think that's so cool that you guys do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got 4 models now, and the process, so are you saying from our standpoint or from the customer standpoint?
From your standpoint.
Okay, so from our standpoint, our original design was actually designed by another guy who kind of did it as a hobby, and then the machinery for that came available around 4 years ago now.
Yeah, it was 4 years.
And so we took that design and kind of refined it. We changed the way that the grips were mounted to the sticks, and we changed the switch plate layout and all of that. So, and then we created 2 new designs last year, and a new design that just came out this year. And our idea behind that was people wanted an ambidextrous grip that they could hold with either hand of the plane. So our Alpha model we designed based on our classic model. So still you can go all out, go as fancy as you want with that one. And then we have 2 simpler models as well. So
all your guys' stuff looked really high quality, and I loved that. But if someone's a first-time customer of yours and they're not sure which one they want, how would you suggest them going about it and picking one?
I think a lot of times it takes knowing what their goal is with their plane. You know, if they're just going to go out in the afternoon and putt around, then they don't need a whole lot on their switch plate. So they can go with the simpler model like the Bravo or the Sport. If they're going to be doing like hard IFR flying and they've got nice luxury interior on their plane, they might go all out with the Classic or an Alpha. So a lot of times it has to do with the avionics that they have on board. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And what about your company is your favorite thing work-wise? You guys are obviously a great team, I can already tell, but
yeah.
How do you like working together? What's the best part of your job for you?
What do you think?
I think just being able to be together, having our family and our kids, they're sitting right next to us. But just it being a family company and being able to be with each other every day is a lot of fun. We do drive each other crazy from time to time, but that's just part of life and to be expected.
Yes, we have a family business too, so I get all of that. It's so cool that you can work with your family, right? It's
Yeah.
amazing, and it's a great opportunity to have for sure.
Yeah.
We're definitely all very lucky for that. What's one thing that you want people watching to know about your company and take away from this?
I think that we're always operating with the customer in mind. So we're very open to feedback from customers. Anytime we can bring their vision to life, we're going to do it. So I think that's the cool thing about our grips is they're so customizable. We can really tailor the design to their airplane, and people seem to like that.
Yes, for sure. And I love that for you guys because customer service is such a huge thing. And I've been asking a lot of people this. I feel like in aviation, it's a lot about connections and, trying hard to work with other people, which plays into customer service. What advice would you give someone who's in aviation and doesn't know how to go about that?
Well, I think it's just not being too set in your ways and hearing customers out. Being a new business, we were very open to hearing feedback, and I think just being willing to listen and it's easy. You can go a little too far with that and go down lots of different rabbit holes that maybe aren't the best, but I think especially starting out, it's worth diving in and seeing what works. And if it does, then great, run after that. If it doesn't, then okay, move on to the next thing.
I think that's really great advice. Now, I want to back it up quite a ways, but how did both of you guys get into aviation?
So I started working for a Lancer builder assist company. So doing composite work, painting the planes, and eventually I moved into avionics, and we started our first business, Skyman Avionics. That was a result of me working at that company, and she was a big part of encouraging me to start that first business, and then once we started that, she kind of joined in, and she's learned a lot along this way. What's been the biggest learning curve for you?
Well, I think the aviation world, it's so complex and so diverse, and there's just a lot to learn.
She learned really quickly how to tell what a transponder was and what an altimeter was, and I think that she's been a good partner because she brings sort of a light to the workplace environment. She's always joking and keeping the snacks filled and handling customer payouts and things like that. Whereas I'm more of a just heads down kind of get the job done kind of person.
Yeah, you guys have the perfect balance for that reason. And for aviation, I feel like teamwork and supporting each other is a really big thing. We can all support each other, whether it's someone you just met or someone you've been with your whole life.
Right.
What advice would you give people who are trying to support someone chasing their aviation dream?
I think it's important to take risks. That's probably the biggest thing. I know it can be scary at times, but you never know unless you try and give it your all. And just try to be open-minded and positive for the future and what it could possibly bring. And I think that's the biggest thing.
Her encouragement has played a huge part in our business, I think. I'm more reserved and I just want to play things a little more safely, and she's like, just go for it. And I think that's been a huge part of our success so far.
Yes, everything's all about balance. What's your guys' favorite part about aviation?
I love the community. I mean, it's, aviation sounds like such a big industry, but really it's a really small, tight-knit community. So, word of mouth goes a long way in this industry. And that's, one of the reasons we place such a high priority on customer service, because, we want people to know that we place a high priority on that. And most of our customers have come from word of mouth, so I think that's huge.
For sure. I think aviation is almost like a big family, honestly.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that SUNnFUN too, meeting people, and then you come back and you might see a familiar face. What's been your guys' highlight of SUNnFUN so far this year?
Well, this is our first year at SUNnFUN.
Oh, really?
So we haven't really gotten to go out a ton so far. We've kind of been exhibiting for the most part, but we did get to go to the air show on Wednesday night.
Yeah, the air show was definitely my favorite. That was so pretty and so cool.
It was so fun. Did you have a favorite part of the air show?
The Red Line air show guys, they are amazing pilots, and they actually have our grips in their aircraft. So that was really cool to see that.
Okay, so if people want to be as cool as them, they need to come get your grip.
Right.
Yeah.
It was cool to see the kids. They were like, hey, they have our grips in their plane and they're doing that. So it was cool. It was cool to see that in person.
That is cool. Do you guys have a website or any way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, it's pioneercontrolgrips.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on Tram Talk, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much for your time.